Ah! Ah, sorry about that. Yes, it is I, Captain Sort of, returning once again with a little update, or possibly a large update, on what's been going off with this map and build in general. We've got the castle up there. I'll go and take a look. There's one or two things changed up there, but nothing huge. Unfortunately, Nikki can't be with us today, so she's left us this charming effigy to sort of remind us of her input. She has in fact moved on to, I think, is it 1.11.1? The thrall of new creatures and such swayed her to update and start using the newer version. Unfortunately, I don't think these mods will work with that just yet, although I'm sure it'd be in the pipeline. So I'll stick in the mud here, just sticking with 1.10.2. Anyway, you can see here, just first things first, we've just smoothed these hills off a little bit, just so they don't overlook the defences so drastically as they did before. What are you? There's a thing up here. Silhouetted cow. Yeah. You loving that? Epic cow. Yes, epic cow. How you doing, buddy? Cool. You enjoying the view? Let's enjoy it together. Don't breathe on me. What the hell? Serious. Honestly. Anyway, no manners. I bloody heard that. Ooh, was that a swear? It's only a minor swear. Right, so anyway, hills smoothed off. I've also, after a little bit of fooling, managed to get the rest of the map. I'd only exported a few tiles, I'll explain. I only exported a few tiles from my World Painter map to work on this build here. And then had a few sort of headaches getting the rest of the map and what I'd built to work together. I originally thought, oh, I'll save it as a schematic, a big chunk of it, and then I'll just whack it into the map when I've made it. And I didn't know, as you guys might know, the schematics, they're a little bit problematic, especially when you've got modified blocks involved. So when all the battlements came out pink and black and the whole floor sort of marble had turned to sort of sticks and biscuits and all sorts of other bits of weasels and stuff, it started to sort of prove a bit of a headache. So, but eventually managed to import what I'd made and sort of export it and blend it with the game. You have to merge and export and import, and it was a little bit of a steep learning curve for somebody who's dumb like me, but I did eventually manage to get it all working and not pink and black, and here we are, basically. There was another little headache with a certain material that you get in World Painter. I think it's called Snow on Rock. I'd used that quite extensively in these peaks, and I was having problems wanting to edit these little bits of mountain either side of the castle build. And it's sort of this stone on rock material contains cobblestone, which is a man-made material. Essentially, is classed as a man-made material, and that wasn't rendering correctly. It should fix itself as long as you don't try and edit the material when you're sort of importing and merging and exporting. But obviously I did want to edit that layer, and I was ending up with these these enormous crazy spikes. The more I'd sort of edit, the more mental sort of spikes of cobblestone would be sort of flying up into the air, floating about and all sorts of things. I was using World Edit to smooth them and then re-exporting and re-importing and merging and all this, and oh, it was a faff, I'll say that much. But in the end, I got rid of the whole material. I just painted it with stone instead, and then put my own custom snow layer on top, and there we are. Seems to have worked out okay. Needs a little bit of work, but I think it's come out okay. It's just tweaking now, I think, on that front. Not much has changed with this part of the building and this part of the map itself. I was thinking about making the actual access is sort of up the mountain, and you have to go right along a valley and sort of up an incline. You can see in the distance between those two peaks there's a sort of a gentle approach, sort of incline. God, sort of again. Told you, Captain Sort of's here, rocking it. But I did think about making this is just in its idea stages of pedestrian access. Not perhaps the best defensive idea, having this sneaky tunnel here that's hidden away and provides cover, I'd imagine, for an enemy. But hey, it's in its early stages. But thinking about an approach just on foot. I've got water in my ear. Well, I've got virtual water in my real ear. Yeah, hopefully the sound has improved somewhat for those out there that do watch and listen, because I invested in something slightly better to talk through than that stick that I had taped to my face before, where it was like this all the time. So that gets a little bit annoying. And that's for me, who kind of makes these things. For anyone else having to suffer through it, God, I can't even imagine. Anyway, I'm just sort of waffling and wandering up and down these half-finished stairs. But thinking about a kind of an approach up this spur here, and just roughed out a possible bridge and such. You can see anyway, on this side, I've made a pool for the waterfall to exit into, whatever. It's falling into something rather than just splashing on the ground and doing its usual Minecraft water physics weirdness. So we've got the pool, and that's issuing into a stream. I've been working. It's still, again, work in progress, WIP, yeah. And fixed up the river now. You might have seen it in an earlier video. If you haven't, then go watch it, or don't, because they all suck. But hey, it's all about the possibilities, not my amazing presentational skills. So go and have a look, turn the sound off, don't listen to it, just have a look at what's going on. So, we needed a bridge across the river, and obviously it'd have to be a fortified bridge, because we've got the badlands of the north up here, and the nice civilized lands of the south down here. I'll not show you too much. I'll just rock up over there and plonk us down. Boom. Hell yeah. So we're overlooked by the castle, overlooking the crossing. And here we are, we've got my fortified bridge. I'm sort of inspired by, where is it now? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's a French building, a French fortified bridge. Saint-Andre, I don't know, I can't remember. You'll know the one. It's sort of in the Dordogne area anyway. You might not know the one, but there's a French bridge that I modelled, so it was very inspirational anyway. God, I'm not doing very well at this, am I? Quite proud, anyway, of this sort of Brattis box matriculation, part wood, part stone going on. And there's some awesome step blocks. You know how steps can be a bit funny and they do their own thing. There's some awesome sort of fixed step blocks, inner and outer steps, in architecture craft. And they came in really handy when sort of knocking together these corbels and such. There, so that's, yeah, that's the first tower on the bridge. I'll just have a look at the side. It's got a bit of a, I don't know, a railway viaduct kind of look to it slightly, because you can't get huge arch spans, unfortunately. 4 blocks is the maximum. And again, no connected textures on these cutwaters, so they're a little bit repetitive. But you could say that it's just large ashlars, large blocks of stone to sort of withstand the onslaught of a river in full flood, which it isn't at the minute, and probably won't be ever, I guess. But we'd have a little scoot, as we always do, over the side. I pinched those stairs, not physically. I didn't steal them, but the idea and the influence came from that bridge in France, and I did end up actually chopping it through further over to make this sort of Barbican and inner tower arrangement. So we've got a second drawbridge there, and I couldn't really make I can't make parapets on sort of diagonal, so the cutwaters just end off with this sort of like a pilaster buttress, I guess you could call it. But there's a refuge either side on the cutwaters on this side, so it's got a certain element of realism there. Passing traffic can be pedestrians can get out of the way of passing traffic, etc., etc. One torch. Right. Who's stolen my other torch? Oh, that's just... honestly. Right. Forget it. Oh, I altered the PNG file in a little bit, just to sort of... You might notice before, the Melissa's doors, I'm sorry, I can't get your name right, I don't know how it's pronounced. Malice's doors. Yeah, I just altered it. It was the texture was a little reddish before, so I just kind of made it, I don't know, gave it a bit more of a tone that's in keeping with the other woods that I've used in the build. God, that's loud. Serious. Fooling with headphones now. Anyway, we go onto the bridge, and you can see first tower. We've had a look at that staircase. There's the Barbican. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm getting that tickle back. Too much talking. Have a quick wander around. Yes, that's right. It's the same old winding mechanism. It's going to keep cropping up. So there's the first chamber here, and I'm quite pleased with these sort of things. Conquest, amazing folks that they are. They've made corner blocks. I might sort of show that in a little more detail. And I joined the forum. Great bunch. They seem like nice folks, and they've got some amazing builds on there as well. But I did talk to them and said, can you do a stone brick version? For the minute, I've got the cobblestone, but it's great. We've got a passageway, you see, in between. It's a 2-block wide wall with a passageway and using vertical slabs and steps to roof it over. Can't go with the vault really, unfortunately, so we're just going with the steps. I don't know why that's rendered like that. Very annoying. I've taken it out and replaced everything around it a million times. It still comes back like that. Annoying. Ooh, yeah, there's the matriculations. The Bratis box matriculation. It's just a room. Gonna not furnished yet. Plenty of loops. Bit of offensive firepower. And then a top chamber. A funky new lantern that they've added as well. It's Conquest Reforged. Excuse me a second. I'm just... Pardon me. I'm going to settle that tickle down and have a little drink. Pardon me. Burping on the mic. Lovely, eh? I'm a charmer. Well, we'll rock down the stairs. Right, just little loops there. Yes. Let's settle that tickle down, and it's kind of a well-earned beer after work. I work night shift, so even though it's 7:15 in the morning, don't do that at home, kids. But I've earned it, and it's my night time essentially, so that's the way we roll up in here, yo. Okay, so across the main section of the bridge, and we've got a second bridge. It's a bit of an afterthought, but I chucked it in there. I've got this Barbican. I'm not sure what's going on with the doors. They've been doing that recently. Woo! You can see them doing some weirdness. Well, nice bit of cornicing there. I didn't make it, but I put it there. I'm saying it's nice. But yeah, not a nice spot once again to be in this Barbican, if you're sandwiched between the defences. I was thinking of putting something in here, like a door or an iron yet. I did even consider a portcullis, but there's not much space in the chamber above to go fooling with stuff like that, and I can't find a good configuration to make it work at the minute. So that will have to wait. Anyway, I've been a busy boy. I've never built a religious foundation, we shall call it, before. So there's something to look at over there in the form of that. But I'll just have a quick sort of perambulate around this gate. Lantern in a recess. I like that model. Conquest guys, nice work. Yeah, it's getting a bit mad. Got another one of these passages up here. It's going through the Barbican wall. I can hear fireplace all up in my ear holes. Very loud. Alright, I don't know if you can hear that or not. But still work in progress, but we've got a chamber over the gate. I'm going to stick another one of those winding mechanisms in. I can't think of a better one right now, so you're just going to have to live with that, as am I. But yeah, there's the funky passageway. This goes out onto a palisaded wall, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Up the stairs again. chamber over the gateway. It's fairly sparse, vaulted over. This tower's essentially meant to be stronger than the first. It's a little bit sort of more well built, vaulted over, etc., etc. Quite fond of that. Parapet in progress there. But this one was finished off. We've got the matriculations. I reckon, well, if it was real life, you'd be able to lean over and drop a pot of horribleness onto whoever was in the Barbican below, trying to assault the inner gate. This roof didn't render too well, I guess. It could have been better, but it all got a bit funky, really. I mean, these building bricks blocks are awesome for being able to do stuff like this, but saying that, there are still limitations in terms of you can't sort of place 4 of these together to make one block, etc. You still got those sort of slab rules applying in certain ways. So you do have to think about how you're placing things, but it's still better than just having sort of meter cubes to work with. So I'm not criticizing in any way, shape or form. It allows a lot more sort of versatility, sort of, when you sort of with the sort of. Yeah, it allows a lot more sort of, god damn it, done it again. Yeah, it allows you a lot more options. You can see we're just on the Barbican there, and we've got a good view of the first tower. And it's roofed over, essentially, to make it a viable strong point. Even if that tower became occupied by an enemy, you're protected here, they can't see the approaches. So you can get troops out onto this and still maintain control over the bridge and have some be able to sort of direct force against the tower while still relatively protected. And there's the further parapet on the other side. Like I say, that's going out onto the wall. We could have made it more isolated, and so you had to draw bridges or something to isolate this tower. I might still do that, but I suppose it's better to integrate it with the defences. We'll wander once again up the spiral stairs. I'm all about the spiral stairs. And this chamber is a little bit more domestic. Again, it's still in its in stages of being built. No furnishings or windows just as yet, but we've got a fireplace, which hasn't burnt my beams. Excellent. It's always good news when your fireplace doesn't set your dwelling on fire. There's a final room, a little less domestic, chimney breast there. And up onto the roof via the cap house. More to do, but we've got time to do it, hopefully. So I'll poodle down and crash into many things, because I'm poo at actually playing. I just like building stuff. So yes, this bridge seemed a bit lonely on its own, and I thought maybe it needs a little town to go with it. So that's what's happening over here. And you'll have to forgive the lack of connected textures, but I've had a chat with the mod makers, and they've said how difficult it would be to involve such things in the mods. So I'm not going to criticize, because changing the odd PNG file and 1 or 2 words of code has been quite a steep learning curve for me. So actually making a mod work would be... I've got utmost respect for people that do that, because it's way beyond my skill level. But here we are anyway. We've got this palisaded defence starting to spring up. Got it. The odd tower. I might sort of tidy it up a little bit in terms of lines, but I use the good old trapdoors for the palisade. I think it gives a good... To say I'm a bit crap with the conquest textures, it gives a good sort of variance to the surface, sort of. Yeah, I know. Sorry. But again, still working on this at the moment. We've got this sort of tower here. God, I wish I'd stop saying that. I bet you do too, even if you're watching. I'm probably just talking to myself on the internet. Woo! Hello, me. Well, show you some of the maps. Some of the maps features in a local the local area. I think I need some outcrops on that cliff. It's just a bit too smooth, but that can come in due course. I can turn the rounded logs off, but I decided to just go with an already square log and keep my rounded logs for the natural trees and such, and used some of the roof parts and made these pyramidal sorts of chiseled caps to the uprights, so they look like spiky logs, or as near as you can get to spiky logs. So that's what's going on there. And I've got this sort of cobblestone and earth rampart backing it all up, made with roof sections from Architecture Craft. And it's a little bit finicky to get around here. I might improve on that again. I'm not too sure. Again, the repetition element in this earth rampart. I did cut, like I said, you cut sort of use a vanilla or similar block, and you can essentially use its texture on one of the Architecture Craft blocks when you make it. And I did use a grass block, but again, with the sort of coding and things, the grass hasn't grown because it just rendered as earth and slightly repetitive. Might try and mix it with some varied styles of dirt and see if it looks any better. We've got the cobblestone sort of backing it up like a retaining wall, and it's starting to go very dark. So I think we'll hair on over to the religious foundation. I'm calling it that. I guess it's in the style of a late medieval European religious foundation. I just don't want to tread on anyone's toes. That's all. I'm not particularly spiritual, but it just seemed like the location to have something of this nature, so here it is. Damn, Conquest, you looking fine. So, yeah, I'm quite pleased with these buttresses and how they turned out. We just blended a few different elements. So we've got some Architecture Craft sections of archway. I'm going to shift click them. We've got some Conquest trapdoors, if I can line up here, just to sort of add a bit more mass. Alright, you can shut again now. Thanks. Alright, fine. Where's the damn thing? I've F1'd it all. Alright, fine. You can stop like that until I'm actually playing again, you poos. Yeah, we're sort of just rocking up and narrowing down as we go. Aha. Yes, that's right. Full. So, I'm going to buzz around the outside quickly. You can see down the southern end of the map is going to be a bit more civilized. Got a meandering river going towards something else I'm intending to build. And then sort of a bit more fields and hedgerows and niceties rather than wild mountains like the northern end. But here we are from the exterior. I'll sweep round. Not quite finished yet, but it's been ages since I made a vid and I keep building stuff, and I thought, well, the last one was 44 minutes long just to look around a small fortress. This is just going to be mad if I don't make something. So that's that. I think I'm quite pleased with the way it's turned out so far. The door's yet to be installed. I'll have a look inside. Some more of these cool lanterns. I'm quite taken with those. And there we are. I think they gives a good effect. Like I said, not built one of these before, but it's very bare inside. But architecturally, I think it's coming together. I've got these side aisles here. No transepts or anything like that. It was meant to be a little chapel, and then it kept getting bigger and bigger. Underneath here is what could be described as a confused mass of foundations. There's a kind of willed edited walls out. I'm a bit, yeah, I have to put foundations in down to rock. I don't know. No one's ever going to look at that, not even me. But I just have to do it. Haven't done it with the rampart, that's kind of sitting on top. But anyway, we're just digressing here into more poo. And the stairs are going to be very dark. I'm just going to find my way up if I can. Got no lighting, so yeah, it's dark as hell. But we've just got a couple of rooms in the tower. There's one here, next one up. And I think, to be honest, we're just going to get back to the light and I'm just going to fly to the roof. I'm going to have a belfry room. And it's a bit more domestic, ecclesiastical up here, rather than I was thinking of having a fortified tower, like you might find in sort of churches on the English-Scots border. Some quite interesting constructions around that area, semi-fortified churches. But I just went with the sort of basics. The effect isn't too bad, it's alright, it's okay. This other outcrop is probably going to have something rather more defensively minded placed on it, overlooking the village. There's a possibility of a harbour down there, seeing as it's a lake in that direction. We'll have to see. I'm going to probably render some slightly more substantial defences on this side, I'd imagine. I think go hill fort style, like a retaining wall, so it's cut into the hill with a ditch in front of it, something like that. Maybe sort of cobble and logs or something. We've got where we've got slightly better natural defences and man-made defences helping to protect them. We'll stick with the Palisade. And that's pretty much that, but that's where it's at the moment anyway. So I do apologise for the ultimate dullness and terrible narration, but that's the way we're rolling. I don't think it's ever going to improve, so sorry. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Sort of, it's just getting things down and then you refine them over time, I suppose. Let's have a look from the exterior. I know it's dark. I can't be bothered to set the times of day. It takes 5 hours to type such a tiny command, so I'm so useless at it. Go on then. Just a final look, and then I think we've got to have to. What are you? How to call it? Oh, pig. Yo. I noticed there are wild boar rolling about as well. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's those guys at Conquest. They awesome. That's all I can say. Top fellas. And fellerettes. Is that a word? I don't even care. It's like 7:30 in the morning and I've just done night shift. So I don't give a damn. Yeah. I reckon it'll come together alright. Beast tower on there, freaking church. I mean, a religious foundation in the background. Yeah, no associations. Anyway, I think we'll do the flyover. We'll end up back where we started. Okay, say tatty bye, Nick Nack. Alright, all the best. Maybe some more terrible vids to torture you with soon. We shall see. Yo, see you peeps.